If you're relocating your company or you have an organization, you're looking for an expansion, you might want the big picture. Think about that, a global perspective. We're offering global insight in this particular interview today. My name is Lynn Hinderaker, and you're watching WOWBIZTV. I'm visiting with Chris Stanley from Abengoa. It's a global processor of ethanol and biofuels and so on. It's a fascinating conversation at a global scale. Chris, thanks for joining me here on WOWBIZTV.
My pleasure, Lynn.
Now, we're here in York, Nebraska, right in the middle of Nebraska, only 8,000 people here, so it's a very interesting logistical place, and you're a global organization. Just give us a quick summary of Abengoa's scope of capacity.
Sure. Abengoa is an international company. We focus primarily on development of new technologies, and most of that is in the energy and environmental sectors. So we have a large company. We have 27,000 employees in over 70 countries.
Oh my.
And we have a focus primarily, again, on energy. So we have huge investments in solar. We have huge investments in biofuels, which is the division that I work in.
Yeah.
And then we also do construction and engineering and design of all of these projects and build our own projects worldwide, really. Electric transmission lines, power applications, all sorts of interesting energy-related things.
You know, so many of us study global business, but I don't think a lot of us actually talk to somebody that's involved in the nitty-gritty of the business. So this is a special interview for us. Thank you for joining us.
We're happy to be here. York is one of my favorite places. I helped start building this plant back in 1993, and I've been coming here off and on ever since. So
oh my goodness.
It's a great place.
So we're talking 20, 25 years. Well, what have you learned about York, Nebraska from a business point of view or even its community culture that we should know, that somebody wouldn't know without your background?
Well, York is a strong community. It's very progressive. It is, economically sound. They've got a great, the reason we initially came here was really kind of an overall push by the York County corn growers, as well as the economic development group here.
They have the raw materials.
That's right. That's right. This is a big deal for us. And again, in the biofuels industry, our initial focus was on corn. Corn as a feedstock, and so this was one of many communities that we were looking at. But the bottom line is that this community pulled together and made a great case for us to come here.
That's fascinating. Now, you do some very cutting-edge things here in this particular facility here in York. Tell us just a little bit about that, because I find, it's all about the future. When I talk to people about around the York community, there's a lot of investment in the future, that kind of thinking. You probably epitomize that to some degree. So tell us a little bit about the future with the R&D piece with your organization.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have used York as a center for development of many of these new technologies. And again, we have many locations around the world, and we have other technology centers in Spain primarily, and here in Nebraska. But we built this plant in 1993. In 1996, we expanded it to add an industrial grade capacity so that we could actually make industrial use ethanols, not just fuel ethanols, and we had an opportunity to do that.
I had no idea there was a degree, by the way, so I'm learning a lot right here as we go. But that represents a greater investment, also a higher quality output, basically, right?
Right, and we chose York to do that because that was the place that we were comfortable doing that at the time. But beyond that, we've made several additional investments here in York. We built an initial pilot plant in 2003 and 2004 to focus on new technologies that could improve the efficiencies of our starch ethanol process.
And efficiency is an important thing for you to keep on working, right? With ethanol, you've got to keep having internal processes that keep cutting edge.
That's exactly right. In fact, the industry overall has done a great job, the ethanol industry, of becoming much more efficient, reducing the energy required to make a gallon of ethanol, reducing the water usage, and so those things are, and producing more gallons per bushel of incoming grain. So York has played a role in developing those technologies for Abengoa.
Tell us about the water thing. You know, water is central to Nebraska, and water plays an important part of the process for you. Tell us a little bit about that and how you handle or process the water and so on.
Yeah, we do. There is water used, but as a practical matter, the water that is used is almost completely recaptured. There's of course some lost as steam, which just goes back into the environment, of course.
Sure.
But for the most part, our water is treated and reused, and there have been tremendous improvements in efficiencies over the last 10 years. Water usage in the industry in general has gone from something like 10 gallons of water to produce a gallon of fuel to closer to 2 or 3 gallons of water to produce a gallon of fuel. So significant reduction in water usage, through these new technologies.
You know, we talked a little bit about employees and skilled employees and workforce development. I know that you're not afraid to form partnerships with organizations so that you can get that skilled worker. Tell us a little bit about that and how York has played a role in helping you get that done.
Well, one of the reasons we've invested so much in York is the fact that that the employees here they have a great Midwestern Nebraska work ethic. You know,
do they talk about it back in Spain? They say those guys show up on time and they do their job, or what?
Well, seriously, that's a factor, and we notice a difference in the workforce in the various locations where we have. York and Nebraska in general typically have had significantly lower unemployment rates. We have dedicated workers. Of the 45 workers that we have at our facility, probably 5 of them have been there from the very beginning, and almost half of them have been there well over 10 or even 15 years.
So it's stable and continuous.
Very much so, stable employment and good skilled workers too.
So they're able to learn the additional skills so you can keep moving forward.
That's exactly right.
Now tell us a little bit about the transportation. I know BNSF plays a role in the distribution of the product and so on. And when we talk about York, we keep coming back to the logistics, and distribution is a good thing coming out of this particular area. How does that affect you?
Yeah, distribution is key. In our industry, we need a couple of key things. We need raw material supply, which here is corn.
Yep.
We need a good economy, and a good local economic economic situation, and we need good logistics and transportation. Yeah. And of course, we have, right here at Interstate 80 on York is great for trucking. We also have the main line of the Burlington Northern Railroad, which comes through here. And we're able to utilize that for rail shipping of our product, which is probably the great majority of our product goes out by rail.
Okay.
So that's critical for us.
Sounds like you've itemized the 3 key factors for success, Chris. You've got a smart workforce, you've got great distribution, you've got raw materials, you got it all together right here in York, Nebraska. I congratulate you for not only finding this place, but then reinvesting and deepening and expanding your investment in the community. I know the people appreciate it here.
Absolutely. The workforce is key, and you have a great local community college system and regional college system. So we've developed programs with the University of Nebraska just down the road. They've provided us with some good key interns, so we have an internship program with them, and many of those people have moved on up within our company into higher level positions. There are some of the more regional colleges, particularly up in Columbus, that have, again, developed programs that are very friendly to local industry.
And they kind of know your industry a little
bit. That's right. They certainly know the ethanol industry, and so that's been a big plus here.
Well, Chris Stanley with Abengoa, thank you for stopping by. I know you have a global agenda and many plants around the world to visit, but we are so grateful for your presence here today in York, Nebraska, and we thank you so much. I know the economic development team really appreciates your contribution to the community. Thanks for joining us here. This is Global Insight for you right here on WOWBIZTV. I'm Lynn Hinderaker, and we will see you next time.